The Great Divide Trail. One of the most difficult hikes in the world. 1,200 kilometers through the Canadian Rockies. It's an adventure at the heart of grand and wild landscapes. And for me, it will be the experience of a lifetime. I discovered the Rockies in 2018 and immediately fell in love with them. When my partner and I decided to leave Canada, I felt the need to return one last time. A final farewell to close this chapter of my life. My name is Fred, and I'm going to hike the Great Divide Trail.
Je me suis lancé dans quelque chose d'assez fou. Parce que le Great Divide Trail, c'est une des longues randonnées les plus difficiles au monde. Et il est fortement déconseillé de la faire sans expérience. Mais malgré tout, moi j'avais que celle-ci en tête. Parce qu'à la base, je suis quand même assez sportif. Je fais des randonnées de 6 à 8 heures, du ski de fond et beaucoup d'escalade. Mais malgré tout, je savais que j'étais très loin du niveau physique qui allait me demander cette aventure. Alors j'ai voulu tester. J'ai fait 2 longues randonnées, une de 42 km dans le fjord du Saguenay et une autre de environ 100 km en Gaspésie. Et là, ça a été la douche froide. Au bout de 16 km avec 15-16 kilos sur le dos, j'arrivais plus à marcher, j'étais laminé. Au niveau du matériel, j'étais mal préparé, j'avais froid, j'étais mouillé, j'avais peur aussi la nuit, peur tout seul dans la forêt. Et je me suis dit, mais si tu galères autant sur 4-5 jours, l'année prochaine, il va falloir que tu marches 30 à 40 km par jour. Et ça pendant une 50aine de jours. Et tu vas être seul, loin de tout, entouré d'animaux sauvages. Et je me suis rendu compte à quel point ça allait être difficile, extrêmement difficile.
The physical challenge is something not to underestimate. It's really, really a difficult trail, even for experienced hikers. It's relentless. My best advice would be do another long hike. Make sure you're physically and mentally prepared. I would pack my pack like 40 pounds heavy and just go on these 20 kilometer. And I would do like at least 2,000 stairs every time. And just have fun, you know? It's one of the most magnificent long-distance hiking trails in the entire world.
I took matters into my own hands.
Ça devrait bien aller.
For 9 months, every Sunday, I walked dozens of kilometers with a loaded backpack. I also did physical training that helped me strengthen both physically and mentally.
Le but, c'est de demander une tâche qui est presque difficilement réalisable physiquement pour que les gens puissent dans leurs ressources mentales et qu'ils en chient.
The GDT is much more than a physical challenge. It requires complex organization and meticulous management. For the food, I had planned around 100 meals and snacks. I needed to eat about 4,000 calories a day. I packed everything into several boxes, which I sent to strategic locations. For gear, I had to stay lightweight while being prepared for cold, storms, wildlife, and unexpected events. I took training courses and tested my equipment in real-life situations. The GDT consists of 7 sections through 5 national parks: Waterton Lake, Kootenay, Banff, Yoho, and Jasper. The moment had finally come to leave. I hopped on the famous Trans-Canada train to Edmonton. During the long journey, I got lost in the endless Canadian landscapes. In Edmonton, a bus took me to Calgary, and then a car drove me to Waterton, the starting point of the GDT. The adventure finally begins. I'm still tired because the wind in Waterton blew relentlessly all night.
Jour 1, je quitte le village de Waterton pour aller jusqu'à la frontière américaine.
Today, an easy 14-kilometer hike. I'm struggling a bit to get started, but little by little, I find my rhythm. At the border, emotions overwhelm me. 2 days of travel, a year of preparation. It's real.
Et voilà, on y est, au début du Great Divide Trail, là où tout commence. Let's go! Ça commence bien, et je viens juste de croiser 2 randonneurs. Ils viennent de rencontrer un ours, trop jeune pour qu'il soit dangereux, mais trop vieux pour que sa mère soit dans les parages. Donc ça sera pas un ours agressif. Apparemment il est vraiment parti en courant quand ils l'ont rencontré. Mais dans le doute, oh, ça c'est un écureuil. Chaque bruit est effrayant dans la forêt. Dans le doute, je vais rester 15-20 minutes ici, prendre une petite pause, puis continuer mon chemin. Wow! 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 Si tu respectes toutes les règles et fais les bonnes pratiques, techniquement, t'as aucune chance de te faire attaquer. Presque aucune chance.
I come across the bear. My heart races. It seems calm enough, so I show it that I mean no harm. I slowly step back, keeping my eyes on it, and continue on my way. The next day, the weight of the 17-kilo backpack really starts to weigh on me. On top of that, snow begins to fall, and I lose the trail. Eventually, I reach the top of Mount Carthew, and a victorious shout escapes me. My first.
C'est pas facile, hein?
I arrive at Akamina Creek, my campsite.
C'était une journée très intense. J'ai eu 4 ou 5 heures de neige en haut des cols que j'ai fait. Et en redescendant sur Cameron Lake, j'ai de nouveau croisé un ours, donc ça fait 2 en 2 jours. Mais là j'ai rebroussé chemin, j'ai attendu 20 minutes, il n'est pas parti, donc j'ai dû prendre un chemin alternatif. Je me suis retrouvé tout mouillé. Voilà, sinon à part ça c'était quand même une très bonne journée malgré tout. Mais j'espère que c'était la plus dure du Great Divide Trail parce que c'était d'une violence assez intense.
I wake up to a freezing cold. The night was especially tough.
Deuxième jour, petite surprise qui m'attend. Il a neigé toute la nuit.
My tent is almost crushed by the snow. The day starts off badly. Still, I gather my strength. The climb to Mount Rowe is a real challenge. 800 meters of elevation gain in the snow. The slope is so steep and slippery that I have to zigzag to move forward, making slow progress, inch by inch. When I reach the summit, the fog engulfs me, and I lose all sense of direction. I move forward, disoriented, with the GPS not working due to the conditions. Suddenly, I find myself at the edge of a cliff. I'm on the verge of panic.
Avec la neige, et sans voir à 10 mètres, là, faut pas aimer la vie là, pour continuer dans ces conditions.
Lost, I text my brother via my satellite phone. He advises me to turn back. It's too dangerous. I agree and head back. Finally, thanks to a break in the clouds, I find my way again and continue on.
Et dire que je pensais qu'il fallait désescalader ça. Heureusement que je ne l'ai pas fait. Je ne serais plus de ce monde.
The snow keeps falling, and I'm moving too slowly. After 14 hours of walking, I have no strength left. Night falls, and I decide to set up my tent under a tree. I throw myself into my cold, damp sleeping bag, too exhausted to even eat. The next morning, the snow has stopped falling, and the sky is finally clear. I get back on the road, but I'm exhausted. Every step in the snow feels like a struggle. It takes me over 4 hours to cover barely 4 kilometers. It's been 3 days now that I've been fighting against the elements.
Toujours dans la neige, toujours dans la neige.
And the thought of giving up crosses my mind. I'm not sure if I can keep going like this. On top of that, tomorrow there's a dangerous section. La Culotte. With this snow, trying to cross it would be suicidal. I think it over for a long time and make the tough decision to descend into the valley and go around the mountain. It's a 32-kilometer detour, but I'd rather take that than risk my life.
Faut pas jouer autre chose que du reggae. J'sais pas chanter, j'remue que sur du reggae. Non, 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 que sur du reggae.
After 26 kilometers, I arrive at a beautiful spot. I've survived. Today, I wake up late and rush because I have 36 kilometers to cover. After just 2 kilometers, I don't know what's happening. My body gives up. I start crying for no reason and collapse to the ground, not really knowing why. I never cry usually. Maybe it's just my body telling me to stop after enduring so much, that it needs to let go. In that moment, I feel lost, demoralized. I decide to keep moving, but each step is slow and heavy. Then, about 30 minutes later, as if by fate, I meet a couple with a baby, walking in the opposite direction. They are locals and reassure me, telling me that the conditions are particularly tough this year. Their presence gives me hope. Motivated, I continue on, and the remaining 30 kilometers become easier, almost beautiful. Nature has rewarded me. In the evening, I finally find the GDT trail again, and a sense of pride washes over me. Although my mind and body have been pushed to their limits, I didn't give up.
Wow. Désolé pour les sensibles.
The next day, I hit the road again, and the first signs of civilization begin to appear. I'm approaching Coleman, which marks the end of Section A. But my feet are in agony, and walking has become a real torment. I can't take it anymore. At this point, I don't even think. I walk mechanically, like a robot.
La première chose que je vais faire, c'est prendre une douche. Oh mon Dieu, ça va être la plus belle douche de la planète.
After a day of rest, it's already time to move on. Though not fully recovered, I feel fresh and determined. I've also stocked up on medicine and bandages. But will my feet hold up? The first few kilometers go by without too much trouble. Along the way, I meet another Great Divide trail hiker. We exchange a few words, and it feels good to talk to someone else.
Remember all the good times.
It's really cool. Merci.
My first campsite will be Window Mountain Lake. A magical place. I plunge into the cool water, set up my tent, and prepare a fire. The evening is peaceful.
Aujourd'hui, un bon couscous aux saucisses.
And I decide to open a gift for my love. I had promised myself I'd save it for a moment when I really needed it.
Petite boîte avec un message vocal.
Allez, come on, babe. Keep going for another 10 minutes. I know that you can do this. And whenever you're tired, take a bar or a sip of an energy gel and repeat with me. I'm strong. I am fearless. I am unstoppable. And I'm a fucking fighter. Rah! I love you so much.
Oh, c'est trop bien. Non, mon Dieu, j'ai la meilleure chérie du monde.
Allez.
The next day, I leave this idyllic spot. But after a few hours, despite the medication, the pain returns. I complete another day, but it's not a good sign. Doubt starts creeping in. Will I make it?
Bon, on traverse, hein. Oh mon Dieu, elle est froide.
Today is Tornado Mountain, and I know it's going to be tough. My feet are torturing me, and every step is a struggle. I push through with Metallica blasting in my ears. After an hour of intense effort, I finally reach the summit. The pain and solitude make these victories even more meaningful. That evening, I arrive at Hidden Creek and realize I have a problem. My gas is empty. I'll have to survive on bread, sausage, and cold food for the next few days. I wake up to pouring rain. For days, I'll march through relentless cold, covered in mud and exhaustion. My gear is soaked. The dampness seeps into me. But I force myself up each morning, repeating, if you suffer, find endurance. If you suffer, find endurance. On the trail, I meet a hiker, Cheese. It's incredible to see another person after 5 days without a soul in sight. We exchange a few words. She warns me that Section C is impassable due to deep snow. Finally, the rain stops. I embrace the solitude and fully take in the landscapes around me.
dalle au porc séché. Délicieux.
I'm nearing the end of Section B, and a tough decision awaits. There's still too much snow on Section C, and my feet have gotten worse. I have to take a break. Unfortunately, my schedule isn't flexible. I'll have to skip the next section. But I don't feel sad. I've already accomplished far more than I thought possible. This is my only choice if I want to reach the final goal.
Je suis avec Nicole, qui s'occupe de resupply entre la section B et la section C. Donc les personnes envoient leurs colis, et ensuite, elle les met dans des lockers anti-ours. Et ils vont rester ici 3-4 semaines, le temps que les hikers arrivent et les prennent pour la section suivante.
I had a FaceTime with Fred and was quite shocked because he lost a lot of weight. And he also showed me his feet and they were absolutely destroyed. Had no idea how he was able to walk like that. But then I looked in his eyes and I immediately knew that he would never ever give up.
After 10 days of rest in Calgary, I set off again, excited to continue the adventure.
Mes pieds ont récupéré, j'ai acheté des nouvelles chaussures. Donc là c'est parti. C'est parti pour la section D.
The start of Section D is brutal. 30 kilometers of battling through dense bushes and thick forest, accumulating scratches and scrapes along the way. But in the evening, the reward is there.
Après une grosse journée comme ça fait plaisir.
I feel like I'm back where I belong. Returning to nature also means embracing solitude. That deep personal confrontation with myself that I've learned to appreciate.
Les gars, vous m'avez pas laissé tomber. Vous êtes forts. Est-ce que vous êtes forts, les gars? Oui! On est super forts, on ira jusqu'au bout.
The next morning, I wake to freezing temperatures, but I'm happy. My body is adapting to the rhythm of hiking again. I can feel it now. Nothing can stop me. As I approach Cairn Creek, a new concern arises. I had read that a bridge was here last year, but there's no guarantee it's still standing. Without it, crossing the river would be difficult. To my immense relief, the bridge is intact, allowing me to reach this paradise-like spot and end the day in peace.
Je sais pas pourquoi à chaque fois que j'installe la tente, il y a une invasion de fourmis, guêpes et autres insectes. C'est fou, non? Elles partent quand la nuit tombe.
The following morning starts with my feet in freezing water. The rivers have overflowed, and I'm forced to wade through 20 to 30 centimeters of icy water for hundreds of meters. The pain is so intense that I have to stop every 30 steps just to regain feeling in my feet. Thankfully, after half an hour, the trail moves away from the river, and I finally find dry ground.
If you're up there, somewhere feeling lonely, you're not the only one. You're not the only one.
The hike becomes easier, and after several kilometers, I reach the vast plains of House River. The scenery is breathtaking. Towering mountains, a shimmering river, and a solitude that invites deep reflection. I pitch my tent near the water, facing this rare and timeless beauty. At sunrise, a rare and moving sight unfolds before my eyes. A family of moose crossing the river. I continue my journey through stunning landscapes, following rivers and marshlands, where nature is raw and untouched. The hike is challenging, but the views captivate me. Once, I don't rush to get up. I stay in my tent for 2 hours, simply soaking in the scenery. It's incredible how beautiful this place is. Eventually, I decide to move on, and within a few hours, I reach the road.
La section D est complétée!
I'm amazed at how different everything feels without the pain in my feet. Suddenly, I can fully embrace the solitude, the landscapes, and the wild beauty around me. I know now, I'm going to see this journey through to the end.
Et c'est parti pour la section E du Great Divide Trail. Let's go!
I set off light and in top shape, carrying only the essentials. After so much walking, I've learned to listen to my body and adjust my needs accordingly. I had planned for a short day, but I feel amazing. Knowing that tomorrow will be tough, I decide to get a head start. The climb is steep, rising from 1,300 to 2,500 meters in just a few kilometers. Eventually, I stop 4 kilometers before the pass. The snow is starting to appear, and I anticipate tougher conditions at the summit. The next morning, I set out on a demanding ascent. Relieved to see that most of the snow has melted. Along the way, I come across Grizzly tracks before reaching Michelle Lake. The view is simply breathtaking. Two azure lakes encircled by snow-capped mountains. I continue on, walking alongside marmots, and I finally reach the highest point of the trail. Standing there, emotions overwhelm me. As I descend into the valley, I spot a grizzly. It's an intense moment. This bear is far bigger and more dangerous than any I've encountered before. I calmly detour around it, staying alert the entire time. After climbing one last peak, I descend toward Pinto Lake, which greets me in all its splendor. The next day, I pushed deeper into the forest. Suddenly, in a clearing, a grizzly appears 100 meters away. I turn back immediately and wait for it to move on.
Là, j'ai pris une mauvaise décision, une décision de débutant. Au lieu d'attendre 20, 30 minutes pour être sûr que le grizzly s'en aille, je ne sais pas pourquoi, j'étais fatigué, j'étais impatient et j'ai décidé de le contourner. Malheureusement, je ne pouvais pas le contourner à 300, 400 mètres comme la veille. Je pouvais être un maximum 150 mètres. Parce qu'il y avait une montagne qui bloquait. Donc j'ai commencé à le contourner dans des sortes d'éboulis de rochers. Il était assez difficile de marcher. J'étais stressé et à un moment j'ai glissé. J'ai glissé, ça a fait du bruit. Je me suis retourné et là j'ai vu l'ours regarder dans ma direction et se mettre sur ses deux pattes arrière. Et puis il a commencé à me courir dessus. Courir en grognant. Je sentais qu'il était énervé. Et là j'ai paniqué. La lisière de la forêt était à environ 50-100 mètres. Et je sais pas, dans ma tête, je me suis dit si tu atteins cette lisière, il ne te verra plus et peut-être qu'il va s'arrêter. Donc j'ai commencé à marcher très vite. Et l'ours me courait dessus. Puis je me retournais à chaque fois et je voyais l'ours à 100 mètres, à 90 mètres, 70 mètres, 60 mètres, 50 mètres. Et là, je me suis dit, mais mon Dieu, tu vas te faire bouffer, ça y est, c'est la fin, quoi. Et j'ai eu un éclair de lucidité. Je savais, parce que j'avais fait des cours de survie et puis suivi des formations, je savais que si on s'enfuit devant un animal sauvage, eh ben, il nous considère comme une proie. Et là, donc, c'est sûr qu'il va nous attaquer. Donc, j'ai pris mon courage à deux mains. J'ai pris mon bâton de randonnée dans la main gauche, ma bombe au poivre dans la main droite. Et je me rappelle qu'à ce moment-là, la seule pensée que j'ai eue, c'était pour ma femme. Et j'étais désolé, en fait. J'étais triste et désolé. Dans ma tête, c'était... désolé ma chérie, je rentrerai pas à la maison. Et avec cette pensée en tête, je me suis retourné. Mon corps partait pour la guerre en fait. Et je me suis retourné et j'ai commencé à lui courir dessus en criant de toutes mes forces. Bon.
Shaken, I resume my journey into the White Goat Valley. Gradually, the adrenaline fades. I begin the ascent of Cataract Pass. And at the summit, the sight takes my breath away. A turquoise lake nestled between snow-dusted mountains, feeding a river that winds through wildflower-filled meadows. The moment feels unreal, as if time has stopped. For just an instant, I forget that only 2 hours ago, a bear was chasing me. After yesterday's adventure, everything seems more beautiful, more simple. The miles fly by, guided by spectacular scenery. After climbing the only pass of the day, I descend and set up camp near a cascading waterfall. The next morning, I set off early, fully enjoying the solitude. I am just a walker among the mountains, lost in my thoughts. Here, everything is simple. Walk, breathe, observe. By the end of the day, Mary Schaefer Campground appears like a peaceful haven. A well-earned resting place after this quiet journey through nature.
Il est trop tôt pour se mouiller les pieds.
This morning, I struggle to wake up. I spot 2 moose resting calmly by the river. I continue on my way and meet Sean, another hiker tackling the GDT from north to south. The day ends as I reach the beginning of the legendary Skyline Trail. The atmosphere shifts. This trail is more frequented, and I start encountering more hikers. I can feel that Jasper and the end of Section E are getting closer. The trail is pleasant, and I make good progress. Along the way, I can't resist the urge to jump into a cold, refreshing lake before taking on the climb to the notch. After a demanding ascent, I walk along a ridge for several kilometers, soaking in the breathtaking panorama before descending into a misty and mysterious valley. The final kilometers are easy. Before entering town, I take a break at Jasper Lake, where I swim and wash my clothes. It has been over a week since my last shower, and I've been wearing the same shirt for 40 days. I finished the section, but there's a strange heaviness in the air. The smell of smoke is everywhere. Wildfires must be burning near Jasper. But I don't pay much attention to it. At this moment, the only thing that matters is the satisfaction of having arrived. A good night in a hotel will do me good, giving me time to process everything I've experienced over the past few weeks. In the evening, noises in the hallway pull me from my sleep. I step outside and see people hurriedly leaving their rooms. A sense of unease washes over me. Checking my phone, I find emergency evacuation alerts. Wildfires are spreading fast.
Sorry, do you have space in a car? No, I'm walking.
Panic sets in. The city is engulfed in smoke. The air is becoming unbreathable, and ash is falling from the sky. Those with cars flee immediately, while I feel completely powerless. 2 hours later, buses are finally arranged to evacuate those without transportation. The tension eases slightly. We learn that we will be taken to Vailment, where we will be safe. The 5-hour journey is long and exhausting. We arrive in the middle of the night, disoriented, and are brought to a shelter before being moved to a church. I am surrounded by families, crying babies, and elderly people sleeping on the floor. It feels like a scene from a movie. The adventure ends here, and I start looking for a way to leave the country. After several unsuccessful calls, a woman reaches out. Her husband is heading to Edmonton and can drop me off at Kamloops Airport. He is incredibly kind, and we share many laughs on the road. But as we drive, he tells me, with sadness in his voice, that this is not the first wildfire in the region. Fires are becoming more frequent. He points out scorched landscapes, explaining that some areas burned 8 years ago, others 12. I am deeply moved by the reality of climate change's impact. Later, I will learn that 30 to 50% of Jasper was destroyed. I am devastated. This journey on the Great Divide Trail has profoundly changed me. It has made me stronger, mentally and physically. Every step, every ache, every encounter pushed me to go beyond my limits, to redefine what I believed was possible. It was a challenge that helped me grow, understand myself better, and persevere through solitude and hardship. I will never forget it. With a heart full of memories and a spirit strengthened by this adventure, I am ready to turn the page and embrace the next phase of my life. This journey has transformed me, and now, hand in hand, I move forward toward new challenges.
Goodbye, Canada!
On the road, I've been away for far too long, but now I'm on my way back home. I hear the west winds calling out my name. They're telling me to head your way, down your road and past your gates. Keep your eyes on the horizon. I was looking to belong when I'd already found my home. Won't be long, I'm there before the setting sun, for you to fall into my